Good morning, folks. It's a balmy 2 degrees outside, beautiful classic Nelson winter, blue sky. And we are on our way to Chris Pyemont. He's a local architect here in Nelson. He jumped on board one of our brand film promotions, and so we are finally getting out and doing the production day for Chris Pyemont. So we're starting at his office. We'll start with the interview there, and then we have a couple of client interviews this afternoon over in Kaiteri.
The interview portion of Chris's brand film was actually pretty tough in terms of the room size. Once the gear's in there, it's very difficult to move around. So the first thing we do is we walk in, set the camera angles. Once we know the camera position, then we can obviously bring in lights and all the other stuff so it's not cluttered around our feet as we're trying to move stuff around. Our priority in a position like that is just to get a really nice clean shot that doesn't look cluttered. Because it's such a small space and we had to shoot back into the natural windows, it forces us in terms of how to light the space, and it forces us into a box. You have to motivate that natural light or that practical light with the key light. So the key light's on the left-hand side where the window is. So the final scene hopefully will feel natural and it will look like the light's coming in from that window.
So here's a frame from the A cam and then also the B camera, so you can see the final composition and the final lighting for this interview setup. Tim here is showing that the key light was right next to him off to the left hand side, and we've got one other light, the 600D, just pointing directly up to the roof to raise the ambient levels. You can see the cameras are pushed way back into the wall as far as they will go to try and get maximum separation between the subject and the background. It was a very tight room, and you can see here we're just packing down. You can see how tight the floor space is, so not a lot of options with a room like this, but all things considered, pretty happy with the results.
What a day.
It's very easy to get carried away with productions like this. This is a relatively small job. You always have to pull yourself down to the project, and I always get carried away and start stressing about composition, lighting, even the depth of the interview that you go into, forgetting that it's simply a 2-minute brand film for a local architect. More than ever, we're learning to just be okay with what the project is, not feel the need to go crazy with it, to shoot it with 4 angles and go into huge detail as if it's a full-on documentary. And that's something I'm learning, definitely.
So for the second location, we filmed Chris walking around one of his projects. He walked through the space explaining the features, and we also captured an interview which you can see here inside the space. We were trying to work really quick, so this is 100% natural light. And for this interview, the camera was on a tripod, and we just zoomed out on the DxO 20-55 for this wide shot. So the same camera angle, and you can just zoom in and out and get 2 interview angles. And here's just a few shots that we captured for this project. Again, 100% natural light. The camera was on sticks, and just basically panning and tracking, following Chris walking around the property, explaining the features of this project to the camera.
So we have wrapped the first day of CP Architect's production day. This is Chris here. He's done an amazing job as we have interviewed him this morning, and then we've gone to 2 locations where he has built these or designed these beautiful homes.
It's been very interesting. It's been awesome watching you guys work. I felt very comfortable working with you guys. It's been, you've given me the right prompts and helped me with, how to steer things along and direct things really well. I mean, I'm not saying it's been easy. Like, it's very difficult to talk about yourself, but actually, you've greased the wheels fantastically. I can't wait to see what you come up with.
If there was someone else who was about to launch into a brand film, what would be one piece of advice that you would give them before we come up to the production day?
I think you actually probably touched on that this morning, is not overthink it. You know, you're in that position, in that career for a reason, and you know, it's been you that's put yourself there. I guess possibly because of the passion you have for that, and just let that drive it, and it'll all fall into place, I'm sure.
Have you had fun?
Yes, for the most part, I have. I've enjoyed it. I've been sweating a bit. There's been some moments of embarrassment and anxiety talking into the camera, but you've made it really easy.
Right, I think a lot of my hesitation or delay, because I've considered doing a YouTube channel just personally, but a lot of the delay, I think, has just been imposter syndrome. And feeling like the value that I have or the authority that I have to speak into the topics that we obviously in our industry, like there are so many other people more qualified than myself to dive into it. But just hearing some of the feedback from the comments that people are, diving into our content as of late, actually reinforces the fact that what we have to share, people find value in. And it's that old thing of like, there's always going to be someone further ahead of the journey than you are. And for a lot of people, we are just that 1 or 2 steps ahead. And they're the type of people that we need to reach rather than the people that are leading the charge and the experts in the field. So it's been good. Nice to know that we can help people.